I think Minnie just put it best. We are like crash dummies tonight, but it should be fun. We appreciate you being here at the Voice of College Football, of course, for a College Football After Dark. We are very close to a 4th season of doing this show on Sunday nights. This is Minnie Hunt right next to me from Corn Nation. You can join her every Monday night, Thursday night on Corn Nation.
Mhm.
And
Talking about the Huskers.
Yes, talking about the Huskers. And sometimes you get, I don't know, maybe a troll or a trash talker in the chat once in a while that may be familiar, that might show up and say something derogatory about the Huskers. I know that.
Can't imagine anyone doing that.
Yeah. So Minnie, it's great to have you. Minnie's going to be hosting our College Football After Dark.
Yes.
And we will tell you more about that going forward. But Minnie, tell us about yourself, because it's quite the interesting come to Nebraska moment. We'll call it that. Come to GBR moment that you experienced a little bit later in life. It wasn't like you were the 6-year-old running around the house decked out in, oh boy, something happened there. So anyway, I've done about 30,000 of these, so I'm pretty accustomed to such things. But so we do appreciate you being here. And
threw me out. I have no idea why.
Okay. I thought you were just done with me already.
I'm like, okay, I'm out of here. See you guys.
No warning.
Have a good show.
Yeah.
No. Okay. So yeah, I Mark, I met you just a couple of months ago because you came on to my show, the Monday Night Therapy, which we need a lot of therapy as Husker fans. And you were talking about your book, which I found fascinating because I've only been a fan for the last decade. And you probably are wondering why anybody would become a fan of the Huskers within the last decade. That's kind of not your ideal time to become a fan. If anyone isn't familiar with the Huskers, we haven't been exactly winning. So I just happened upon the Huskers one Saturday afternoon about 10 years ago. They were on the television, and I think I was bringing my husband some snacks or something, or my brother-in-law, and out of the corner of my eye, there was the quarterback that got injured. And it could have been any quarterback. But we figured out that it wasn't. It was Nebraska's quarterback. At the time, it was Tommy Armstrong. And I've been to football games. I'd never seen them pull an ambulance onto the field. You know, the lights are going, the team's standing around, everyone's like, oh no. And they put him in the back of the ambulance, which at Ohio State, the hospital's right next door. And I was just kind of like stunned because I thought maybe this guy could die with the way that everybody was reacting. I mean, his girlfriend's on the sideline. She has tears just streaming down her face. And I'm like, oh, I have to find out. You know, it's kind of like when you see an accident, you can't not look. That's how that was. And he ended up coming back towards the end of the game. Like, he walked onto the field. He was rooting his team on. And yeah, that was it. We lost horribly, by the way.
I know the score. I won't mention the score, though. People can look it up if they would really like to. It's probably worse than you would imagine.
It was really bad, but you know what? From that point forward, it's like, okay, I got to go to a game. I have to be around this. I have to be there. So I think I went to
I don't know what's going on. She's just in and out. And yes, we will conduct this show like we always have in terms of bringing all of you in to talk on the panel. But certainly we wanted.
I think it's this new browser that I downloaded because it just keeps popping me out.
That new browser I made you download. There it is. There it is. This did this to somebody else. I believe it was TJ with Michigan, where it kicks him out, and then it finally calmed down at some point and stopped kicking him out. So I'm just waiting for the suspenseful finish to the story here. Oh, okay.
So I think I'm going to just quickly send myself an invite, and I'll get on another browser so it doesn't keep doing this.
Okay. I have no idea how long that's going to take. We'll take a call from Will here. Will, what's going on tonight?
I didn't know. I knew it was going to be different. I didn't know it was going to be this different after dark, but it's a new era. It's a new era for the...
Yes, we've had quite a lot of confusion the last few days concerning all of this, but that's fine. We'll iron things out.
Mm-hmm. So is it going to be Minnie? Is it going to be like Minnie letting one caller in at a time? Is that how it's going to be?
No. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the same thing. So basically, it was the intent. Oh, so now we're all lined up differently. So, Will, I'll answer your question, then we'll continue. So this is me somewhat improvising on the fly because I don't have all the information that I need to even answer your questions because of decisions of others. But I'll say it this way, that the intent going forward was to spark the show, lift the show, improve the show, do all those good things to the show. And I asked Minnie to host the outset of the show, but that we could continue with the rest of the show the way we've always done it, and always leave that to all the members to come on. So the purpose of the show, anybody watching right now, and anybody who will watch this show started, and the purpose of the show was to give a benefit to all the members of the Voice of College Football. So anybody that's got a membership, whether you're on Patreon or you're on YouTube, you get a link, and this is your show to host, to help host, to jump on here and to ask questions, to bring up topics, to do all those good things. So it was a bit of a membership draw, but also a benefit to the members to collab and talk and hang out and do all those things. So we've had a lot of things happen in the last way too many months that I've allowed to have happen, of people being on here that aren't members, that have been allowed by other people to come on here and just hang out who aren't members. And that is not the purpose of the show, and it not always being communicated that was the purpose of the show, for it to be a show by the members, for the members, and here we are. So, so we were looking for kind of a two-part show. I don't know if it's going to turn out that way at this point, but what I do know is that Minnie's here, and I am ecstatic to have her hosting this show, whether that be the entire show or the first half of the show going forward. And we will deal with all sorts of graphics and looks and thumbnails and rebranding and all of that. We'll leave it in Minnie's capable hands, because she's so much better than that than I am.
Wow. Hi, Will.
Hey, Minnie. So, Minnie, do you know much about recruiting? That's what I was kind of wondering.
I am not the recruiting gal.
Okay.
I know Leanne is, and she'll still be.
Yeah, I know Leanne is too.
Yep.
Will skipped right over me.
Well, I thought
you're here.
No, I am not the recruiting guy, although I talk about it in some way every day. But yeah, I'm not the recruiting guy. What's the question and or comment, Will?
Well, like the question was like that there's going to be like 3 receivers that are going to commit in the next 3 days, and like the Irish fans think they're all going to Notre Dame, but I wanted to know how confident you guys were about it.
That's interesting. I thought there was one. I mean, I just saw this, so I don't know. I thought there was one going to Alabama.
Yeah, I know Alabama got a running back, and then they got someone else.
Alabama's on a run.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they got someone else from Georgia.
Did you see our watch parties the last few days, Will?
I gotta lock into the watch parties. I've been seeing them, but
yeah. So this is a brainchild of Jackson, our buddy Jackson. Phenomenal.
mm-hmm.
So I didn't have enough brains to take what I've done in the past and just take it to the next step, because like when JTT Tuimoloau, when he committed, I did a live stream. It was the most popular live stream I've ever had on. There were like 1,400 people on live. So you would have thought, like, why don't I just keep doing these? So here we are, how many years later? And like 4 years later, and Jackson came up with the same idea. But he's committed to it, and he pulled in all sorts of people to do these watch parties, and he's done 3 and 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. Oh, they are on fire. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Minnie, can you give me a ranking of your Nebraska quarterbacks that you've seen since you become a fan? Do you have a ranking from Tommy Armstrong now to Dylan Raiola?
I mean, is it really fair? Well, because you have to realize when your team is in disarray. I mean, we've had head coaches and then offensive coordinators and quarterback coaches. It's just, I feel like they've all done the best that they could under their circumstances. Right now, I feel like we have all the pieces together.
Don't we think Adrian Martinez is actually the best quarterback they've had since then?
Yeah, I do, for sure. I mean, look at him now, though. As soon as he left Nebraska, he did much better. And I think that just shows how much we were lacking in coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that what do you think went wrong with Mike Riley? Because I felt like he was doing a decent job there, and then it just fell apart.
I was one of the few that actually didn't want him fired.
I'm
not your typical Nebraska fan. I mean, everybody's like, "Are you kidding?" Because they had seen what the winning records were in previous years. Well, I never lived through any of that. I just thought he was such a nice guy. Why would you fire him?
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
They called him Smiley, didn't they?
Yeah, he had a couple of nicknames. But yeah, I guess he just didn't fit the program overall.
And then Scott Frost, it just didn't work. It was a glove that you thought was going to fit, but then it didn't fit. So
me included.
Yeah,
that's a good way to put it. Who is your team? Is it Notre Dame?
Notre Dame, yeah.
You guys have it quite. Yeah, I mean. And your schedule looks pretty good this year too.
Yeah, so 2-0 start I'm hoping for. Do you know that Dan the Diesel guy?
Mm-hmm.
So we had a little bet. So if we make the playoffs, he has to show his face on my channel. He has to, so hoping to win that and hoping he follows through.
Yeah, I think he bet. Didn't he recently bet in Oregon if Ohio State doesn't win or something like that? Didn't he come on your show, Mark?
All I know about Dan is that based on most of his predictions and forecasting of games and seasons is that I just hope the guy doesn't bet too much because I've never heard anything uttered from him that would be a winning bet.
He's interesting. He's actually entertainment. I saw George in the chat. Okay, George is my favorite person to see.
You can't have favorites.
I do. He says some of the most off-the-wall things. Hi, George.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So Notre Dame,
mm-hmm.
they're definitely going to make a run for it this.
Yeah, I think anything less than a semifinal appearance will be extremely disappointing with the team this season. But, I mean, Texas and Ohio State will be tough if we play them in the playoffs. But other than them, I think we should handle. Once CJ, Art Carr, new quarterback, gets settled in, I think we should be able to handle everyone else.
Yeah.
That's what I hope.
How do you feel about them possibly joining a conference? Do you think that they should?
I mean, I think unless it I think eventually once the ACC fold in probably 2031, I think the Irish will have to join eventually. But I mean, maybe Pete Pavakwa can pull a rabbit out of a hat, the new athletic director. But I think like once Florida State leaves the ACC, I think we got to join the Big Ten. But who knows what he can do. But like if we want to join the Big Ten, I don't want to be like Miami in the ACC and not win it. Like I want us to be in it be at Ohio State's level by then. And I mean, at least at that level.
I'm just listening.
I mean, I hope Marcus everything's all ironed out and that we can challenge for the big
Absolutely, Notre Dame would be a huge factor in the Big Ten.
And be up there with every year and win it at least 25% of the time. Win the Big Ten.
25% of the time.
At least win it every 4 years.
Okay, that's a reasonable goal.
Because I feel like what Penn State when they got in the Big Ten, they had a good year in '94, but then they never won the Big Ten until 2005. I just don't want to be in that position as a second. They're a second tier. They were a second tier team in the Big Ten, and they still kind of are. No offense to the Nittany Lions, but I want to because they joined and it was Ohio State Michigan's conference, and then it was still Ohio State Michigan's conference. And now, of
Penn
course,
State was so dominant in the 80s and early 90s that when they joined the Big Ten, a lot of people thought that Penn State was just going to take over the Big Ten, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
They were good. They were a contender, but what? 94, 05, 08,
2016.
16. So they got 4 Big Ten championships in 32 years.
That's not great.
That's not his expectation level now is to go to the championship game every single year.
Well, 4 Big Ten championships in 32 years out of a Penn State kind of program. How many does Ohio State have in those 32 years? About 16, 17?
At least, yeah.
How many times has Ohio State been put on probation, though?
That's fair.
How many
times? Fair, but
probation?
Yeah,
once, and that was a bogus decision.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I just don't want to have a 2000 to 2004 ever at Notre Dame again. That sort of era at Penn State. I don't want us to ever be that bad in the Big Ten if the Irish join.
Yeah, I feel like your schedule would get tougher. Is that fair?
It'll get a little tougher, but I feel like we're more built to do better in the trenches than SC did when they first joined the conference.
Oh yeah.
So I think we would hang in there. I'm not saying we would just blow everyone out, but we would probably go at least at most 2 losses a season.
When I look at this year's schedule, it's hard for me to find a loss.
I know. It looks a little light.
I'll look at the schedule again.
I'm eyeing a trip to Fayetteville as a possible stunner.
Oh,
that's going to be a fun trip.
That would be fun.
Mm-hmm. See if Bobby P can get it going. Their offense going. Well, when Josh Pate, he put up the FPI rankings in Notre Dame's opponents and he was like, "Hey, this is a lot tougher than people are saying." But
he did.
Yeah,
Was he saying that based on his own evaluation or the FPI?
Just the FPI. Just
the FPI is shaky, to be kind. I've never been a fan of the FPI. I've produced videos basically trashing the FPI, showing where it is highly flawed. Highly flawed.
Who puts together the FPI, Mark?
That's an ESPN product. the Football Power Index.
Mm-hmm.
So there's analysts just like you,
Mm-hmm.
beings, that put together this based off of the previous year and what they think is going to happen.
Yeah, so I used to have a better handle on it, but it's basically, yes, it's a measurement of last year's team, current production, coming back, added production, lost NFL draft selections and other transfer portal losses, the status of the recruiting class, the incoming, or if there was a quarterback change or a head coaching change that negatively impacts the team.
Okay. Which is what I would look at. I mean, but
yeah, it makes sense in theory, but when you get computers involved and it's not a finely tuned system, not that I'm sure they've thrown a ton of money and resources into it, but when it's basically when it spits out things like in 2016 that Ohio State's got a 6% chance of winning the Big Ten. No, that's ludicrous.
It did that in 16?
Yeah. Because they were so young. They had one of the youngest teams in America. I think they had the youngest Power 5 team in America. They had a 6% chance of winning the Big Ten. Of course, that's just silly.
So, Minnie, what do you think would be a successful season for the Cornhuskers with the schedule?
Well, do you want to continue to be my friend here?
I do want to be your friend. I just want to know what the Nebraska fan thinks.
I'm going to tell you. It's going to be at least 8 wins.
8 wins. Yeah, that's why I would have said 8-4.
Okay.
So I agree.
If I have to put a number on it. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, what I really want to have happen is I want to play Michigan down to the wire, and I'd love it if we won that game. I mean, Penn State, I'd love that game to be played to the wire. That means that we have turned the corner and we're a good team in my mind.
So 8-4, no blowouts.
Yes.
No. Okay.
This is probably on the screen right here the biggest endorsement I've ever received. Christopher Foote disagrees with me a lot. That probably is. I should put that at the top of my resume. Sean, how are you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing fantastic. Lovely, lovely time to be up here on the west side of Michigan, hitting up all the lakes regularly. Yeah, so really, really hot this week, but hopefully I'll become more moderate.
Oh, it's going to become moderate. Yeah, just give it a couple months.
Feels like a sauna whenever you go outside for me. It's so humid.
You have no idea. I think it was 115 degrees here in Phoenix today.
Ooh.
Yeah. No, it's totally different. I've been out in the Southwest during the summer at times, and I need to either be inside or at a pool. Those are the only 2 options.
Poolside is ideal. I go with that. Yeah.
Yes.
That would make a good T-shirt. Anything, I mean, something having to do with 1984 and BYU especially.
So, Minnie, is Phoenix definitely, is it a college football town or more of an NFL town?
Phoenix is different. I mean, in comparison to where you guys are, just the rest of the country, the Southwest is really spread out. So it has and there's a lot of transplants here. So there's a lot of people that root for other teams outside of the state. There's a ton of Nebraska Husker fans here. A ton. And then there's Michigan fans, they come from all over. So I wouldn't say, and just because you live here, I wouldn't say you need to be like a Cardinals fan, because for some reason they built the Cardinals stadium on the farthest possible place they could have put it. And like I said, everything's spread out here, so it takes forever to get there. You have to plan a whole day.
Yeah, it's not an area that's real centralized either. There's not I mean, there's all sorts of that whole valley is just kind of like every city has its own kind of area. Scottsdale.
Yep.
So would you say there is a lot of like excitement about ASU in the area, or not really?
There is probably after last season.
Mm-hmm.
I think they nobody expected that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the head coach, Kenny Dillingham, I think he has a lot of supporters because of what he was able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They
also. Sam Levitt's getting some like Heisman buzz. He's wearing these hot names in the offseason.
Yeah, he's being called the face of the Big 12.
Oh.
Deion's the face of the Big 12.
That's right.
Well, I saw someone say that.
He just is.
Yeah, it's no question.
That's just who people watch. When every game Colorado plays is the highest ranked game of the week in the Big 12 and for the entire season, that until that changes.
It's not Scott Satterfield.
Scott Satterfield, yeah. Scott Satterfield, yeah. Why Scott Satterfield has a job is beyond me.
That was the worst hire ever, man. I was like, PU.
So one quick thing going back to Phoenix. This is my thought about certain areas of the country that are destination spots and people migrated there from other parts of the country, is that the hardcore nature of fans, it doesn't seem to be there because, number one, you have a larger portion of the population that didn't necessarily grow up with American sports, and it's not ingrained in them. Number two, you've got people from all over the country that root for their teams that are just mixed in with all these other people, as opposed to going to the heart of Michigan or the heart of Ohio, somewhere like that, where sure, there's people from all over the country in certain pockets, but basically it's diehard local team, where I just think you've got a more cosmopolitan nature to the population.
Yeah.
So
that's why I wanted so badly to go to a Husker game. I saw that. I mean, no offense to Ohio State fans, but Nebraska fans were going crazy at that game. The one where we lost so badly in 2016?
16, yeah, that was.
Yeah. So
I gave Minnie, since she became a fan around 2016, the Tommy Armstrong carted off the field 62-3 game. Gave her an introduction to the 2012 Big Ten championship game, and
that was
Wisconsin putting up 70 points.
Honestly, unless I saw that with my own eyes, there's absolutely no way I would have ever believed Wisconsin was good ever. But Brett Bielema, I mean, he's actually a good coach, obviously.
Yeah.
They made us look fools in that game.
I want to get back to that point about some of these places with a lot of transplants. That's why I was opposed to Vegas getting an NFL team. Because essentially every game, it's like a travel destination for the opposing team. That's the game.
Chargers are the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Vegas more, because Vegas is such a humongous tourist town. Like if they're playing, I don't know, say the Carolina Panthers one week, all the Panthers fans are going to make a point to go to that game because, hey, you get to go to Vegas and you get to go watch your team play. And every game is kind of like a neutral site game or maybe a road game for the Raiders. There's not, and that's kind of borne out. So
I agree. It's better than them in LA, though. I couldn't stand them in LA.
We might drive Minnie away if we talk about the NFL too much. I think I talked about the NFL on a show about a week ago. I just talked about the NFL start to finish, and that just turned you off. You were out. Like, see you. I'm not going to watch this show.
It's over. Yes.
Will, you brought up recruiting, and even from her couch or wherever she is in her little Texas home. Leanne heard you and is coming in with some Arizona State recruiting intel. So look at that. She just can't help herself. She just has to spout out some intel.
She's so
She's just the machine right now. I
She
could
is a machine.
just name his school right now. How's East Carolina's recruiting going, Leanne?
She's watching film. She's
The rowdy dowdies.
Is that your team now, Mark?
Whose team?
Yours.
My team.
Didn't
East Carolina. Coastal Carolina.
Okay.
That's my team. I'm still looking for a shirt. That's my team for 2025, Coastal Carolina. I want to get a shirt, but it's got to be teal. Because if I get a black one that's just got a little, nobody's going to notice. I need a bright teal Coastal Carolina shirt. Do you know why I'm doing this, Sean?
I am unaware.
Why I'm on the Coastal Carolina bandwagon?
I think I remember hearing this once, but I totally forgot.
Free concessions.
Right, that's it. Yes, that's amazing.
They just brought me in with that.
So
Sean,
they've got free concessions. They've got teal turf. I mean, what's not to love?
Yes.
Yeah, was that Minnie? You ask something?
Yeah, no, I wanted to ask. You must be a Michigan fan, right?
Hey, Mark.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Sean.
Is there a slur? I mean,
I'm sorry, Sean.
No.
Sorry.
That's the ultimate insult, right there. I'm sorry, Sean.
Oh
no. I am originally from Ohio. I'm a diehard Buckeye fan. Diehard.
Sean's an extremely ardent and also knowledgeable Buckeyes fan and college football fan. One of our top of the line knowledgeable fans for sure.
Okay, well, give me the rundown on Julian Sayin then.
Julian Sayin, he's a very smooth, athletic quarterback, very high pedigree. Comes in like really well schooled, about as polished as a 19-year-old freshman, as you'll see. I don't think he's going to wow you with any of his physical tools, but he's athletic. He's got a decent arm, but he's a guy who processes at an extremely high level. I mean, this is at least a book on him. We haven't seen him play at a college level, but throws an incredibly pretty ball, gets to the right place most of the time. So, Jim Rat knows the game in and out. There's a lot of reasons to be excited if you're a Buckeyes fan, and maybe fearful if you're not.
Give me an NFL comparison, Sean. We need the NFL comparison.
Okay, NFL comparison, maybe. I mean, top of the line, it would be like a Joe Burrow.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, when you describe
if you're going to go kind of like more realistic, like expectations, maybe more like something like a Jared Goff. That's what I'm thinking with them. That's the type of quarterback you're getting.
Sean, I don't know if you can see the comments, but Christopher said that you're describing a terrier.
Terrier.
I think so. No.
Well, maybe I missed my calling. Maybe I need to be a Westminster dog show judge.
He's throwing a frisbee. That's so funny. And I was reading that a new defensive coordinator too, right?
New offensive and defensive coordinators, which to me is the biggest. I mean, aside from the personnel turnover at Ohio State, that's the biggest storyline for sure. Brian Hartline's been there. He takes over as offensive coordinator, and Matt Patricia, the much maligned former head coach of the Lions, longtime Patriots coordinator, is coming along. And I mean, those are two coordinator positions that we're just going to have to wait and see how they work out. Last year you knew so much with Chip Kelly's background, his relationship with Ryan Day, and Jim Knowles was such a proven commodity. Well, we don't know what these guys are like, what Patricia and Hartline are like in their top roles at this level. We just really don't have any intel on that at all. So,
yeah, it just seems like there's so many new pieces coming
yes,
off
there's a lot.
the championship, and now there's all these new pieces. Aren't you guys worried?
Yeah, so many new pieces, Minnie. It might be a down year, 10-2.
That's precisely it. I mean, I'm fully expecting the Buckeyes to be in the hunt, to be in the playoffs. I mean, this is no team has reloaded and turned over like the Buckeyes have for the past 20 years. So.
I don't have the right notebook here, but I got pads and pads of all the predictions, and I'm cranking out these videos, and I got to say that I'm toying with a scenario where Ohio State goes 9-3.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously scenarios. I'm not saying that I had to figure it out, but you know what I mean. They lose to Texas. Penn State coming in. They got a certain matchup at the end of the season. They go to Illinois, right? That's a road game.
Yeah, I really think Illinois could win everything. I know that's so shocking, but I do think that.
What, everything in the state? What? They're going to beat Northwestern? No, people are way too high on Illinois.
No, they are not.
Way overblown.
No, they are not.
Illinois.
Well, Mark remembers everything from the past 70 years in college football. Do you remember the last time Illinois was good 2 years in a row?
That's a great
point, Sean.
Yeah.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
The late 80s for Jeff George, and then into the early 90s. They beat Ohio State 5 years in a row.
Did they?
Yes. 88 through 92.
Wow.
Can you imagine that happening?
That's not making the 4 in a row against Michigan look all that bad anymore.
The last game in that streak, Sean, Eddie George had 3 fumbles. 2 of them were down near the goal line, and this is when nobody knew who Eddie George was. And obviously they knew in practice what they had, but then he just disappeared for the rest of the year and for 1993, and we didn't see him until 1994.
And then 1995, he just goes and wins the Heisman.
Yeah.
So that was Herb Street was the quarterback then.
Yes, 92. That was his team. Yep.
Wow.
What do you throw? Are you looking at that right now, Will? What do you throw? 4 touchdown passes the whole season?
Look,
it's not. I might not be off by too many. Yeah. Robert Smith. Heck yeah. All right, we'll bring it back to the here and now. We'll get Minnie back involved. 2025.
So do you guys think that Illinois, it might just be because they're orange, but do they kind of remind you of the Jonathan Smith Oregon State teams, but with better quarterback play?
Yeah, that's not a bad comparison. Strong interior line play. Want to win the lines of scrimmage and play really aggressive man defense. Yeah, there's definitely some overlap there.
They have a ton of returners.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns.
All right. Leanne is telling us Michigan fans, set your clocks tomorrow for 4-star defensive back Andre Clark out of Hermitage. Commit 2:00 Eastern time. Do we have a watch party? Jackson, do we have a watch party?
Hermitage, yeah, it is the Hermitage in Richmond.
And expecting watch parties for everything. They will be battling Kentucky for his commitment. Okay.
I have seen so many weird recruiting battles this year where teams that were just not competing for top level recruits are in there. Ohio State just lost a recruit to SMU the other day. I mean, I saw one of the top linemen had his Final Four was Michigan, Notre Dame, and somebody else in Kansas. You're seeing
Kansas
some of
State,
these.
I got to correct our buddy Christopher Foote. He says Kirk Herbstreit lost to Air Force in the Liberty Bowl. Kirk Herbstreit was on the team. He did not play a down of that game. That was a Kent Graham. No, that was the Greg Fry, 1990. That was a Greg Fry, Kent Graham in 91. Herbstreit was not the quarterback till 92. Yes, that was an awful night to be a Buckeyes fan. 17-point favorite at the Liberty Bowl. They missed out on the Rose Bowl by an inch, literally an inch. They didn't convert a fourth down against Michigan. Missed out on the Rose Bowl. Dropped all the way to the Liberty Bowl. 17-point favorite, lost to Air Force. That's the last time Ohio State lost to a group of 5 team. 1990.
Josh, you really turned it around, man.
When Ohio State didn't get that fourth down, were Buckeye fans crying for the next decade that he actually made it and saying like there's a conspiracy from the rest of history over?
No, we actually faced reality and knew that he didn't make it.
I mean, the thing is with UM fans, I mean, I'm like, yeah, it's that you would have won the rivalry game, but you weren't beating Clemson.
No.
Probably not. No. Probably would have done better than we did, though.
Let's hear from Minnesota Dave here. We appreciate you, man. It's Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State, Wisconsin, UCLA, Maryland, and Purdue battling not to be last. Wait a minute.
I guess there's
what is going on here?
Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State are at the top, and Wisconsin, UCLA, Maryland, Purdue are at the bottom.
Okay, all right.
In the middle of the Big Ten is battling for those top two spots. All right. Well, thanks for the breakdown of the Big Ten, Dave. He's got it sliced into 3. All right. He's got his beloved Gophers there in the middle. I want to see Minnesota break through.
You're saying like the rest
of the Big Ten breakthrough that's not an elite. It would be my guy PJ Fleck in Minnesota.
They're not gonna do. No.
I bleed orange. Definitely Clemson this year. Definitely Clemson.
I have a question.
And that's not to put Michigan State in that bottom list too. They
have to make a bowl.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if you can shed a little light, maybe you guys too, Sean and Will, with, I mean, what Dave Valensky said here, Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State. Okay, we put those at the top. We put the others at the bottom. I mean, but honestly, it's not that big of a huge difference in talent in teams. I mean, sometimes there's not a ton of blowouts anymore, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And because there's a lot of games that are, won by 3 points or won by a touchdown or less.
I'm sorry, Minnie, to interrupt. You've been watching too many Nebraska games. You've been watching 1-score losses for like 5 years in a row.
It's true. Well, okay, my question. Let me get to my question. All right, maybe you don't agree with that part, but there are a lot of close games. Okay, is that fair?
Yeah, anyway. I would say most of the Big Ten is fairly competitive with each other. There's like in any given year, there's like two teams that are not good at all, and then there's like the typical Ohio State. There's like 2 or 3 at the top that are way better than everyone else, and then it's like 4 through like 15, 16. Any week, no surprise, no outcome's that big of a surprise.
I'll give you a great example, Minnie. I'll back you up on this one. Illinois was so good last year, 10-3, top 15 in the country. Purdue was lousy, worst team in the Power 5.
Yeah.
Overtime, 50-49.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so this is the question. What's the deal with calls from refs sometimes making the difference in a game? Has this always been the case?
I think so. I mean, I think you didn't have social media to amplify every missed call. You didn't have 800 different angles to clearly indicate or to justify and whoever's mind wanted to hear it that they got screwed out of the game. So, I mean, college football reffing has not been great the past couple of years. I'm not going to pretend it has been, but I mean, they are just under much more scrutiny than they ever were in the past.
I don't know. I'm not a huge. I mean, maybe just because I don't like Mario Cristobal and I don't really like Miami, but I'm not sold on Carson Beck having the receivers enough that I don't think Miami's receivers are very good. And I think that's going to hurt them this season. He will have time to throw against pretty much everyone in the ACC because they have their lines of scrimmage, especially offensive line, is good. But I don't know. I just don't see him going to town against the Irish secondary. I really don't. I think this could be a Drew Aller situation.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I drank the Kool-Aid on Carson Beck a little bit. I thought he was legitimately good following that 20.
Yeah, I mean, when you have Vlad McConkey and Brock Bowers, you're going to look pretty good.
Yeah, I know, but I thought I saw enough in him. I'm like, okay, this is definitely not an average college quarterback, and last year average was pushing it for him a lot of the times. It was, yeah. He couldn't overcome a slight downgrade in his situation. And
the Bull will win. Isn't he the guy that came onto the show once without a shirt? I think
that does sound familiar. I should have been scarred by that. Why did you bring that up? Because I obviously wasn't, but I could have been. So let's take a quick time out here real quick, just to let people know what we're doing here. So this is the After Dark show. I looked this up just the other day. So we started this in August of 22. So we're coming up on a 4th year of college football After Dark. And so in terms of what the format of the show and the look of the show and the hosting of the show is going to look like going forward, we know that Minnie is going to lead us off with a 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific start time, and then it will continue from there. And we hope to continue it much like we have in the past, although Minnie's got some great ideas for some topics to throw out there. But this is a members-only show. It's driven by you, the members. So this is why we put this together originally. We want to thank Ben. I looked at the first one because I was curious. When did this thing start? What was going on at the time? So I went back, saw the first one. The first couple you had, Tony Altamore on there and Tim Prangley and John D'Adamo. And I saw Sean on there. I saw Will on there. Saw Ben on there. And Joey Foster and a lot of good people. Jordan Bowman on there. And so those guys started this show collectively and did a great job in doing so. And it was whoever came up with the idea. The drive was, let's give our members a say, even though it's the voice of college football. And I would like to say that I want to give everybody a voice every day. That's one of the reasons for the name. That this show in particular, to give back to the people that are loyal supporters, to be able to be on the panel and talk. So that's a big component of the show. So if you become a member, you can jump online. You get a link. You can jump online with us and talk college football.
Yes, please do, because I think it's a lot of fun to interact like this, because then I get to, we get to all learn about each other's teams and what we are looking forward to this season. What games are you guys looking forward to?
Clemson LSU will be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the Ohio State Texas game. I think that's without question the biggest non-conference game of the year. And I do just want to see that Oklahoma-Michigan game is going to be really interesting.
I think even though I'm not a huge fan of the Wolverines, I think they're going to beat down the Sooners. I don't have any faith in the Sooners.
Oh, I
don't know. I don't know if I have a lot of faith in either team.
I just think that Michigan's D-line's that played well against Alabama. They're going to eat alive OU's O-line, because that O-line stunk last year.
Yeah, OU got hit by the injury bug about as hard as any team in recent memory last year.
I'm
So
kind of
I
like Oklahoma to bounce back.
You are, Mark. Okay.
I am.
well, I mean, I'll tell you what. I think Jaden Ott. No one knows about him because he played at Cal last year, and people weren't watching the CW a whole lot for college football. And but he is legitimately like one of the top playmakers, top people with the ball in his hands in the country. So, you know, in some and especially Oklahoma's defense should be pretty good in close games. If you just get that one or two explosive plays, that will do it. That will win you.
It would make my life worthwhile as a Husker fan because we play them. We play Michigan the next week, and that's the game that Sharon Moore is going. He said, "Yeah, I won't be there. I'll take my sister."
Nebraska fans are taking great offense to this.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. That would be, I mean, I don't know exactly why anyone would think Oklahoma should be a ton better than Nebraska this year. But
The way you said that, I'm not.
they're maybe using a little bit of the cover of Jerome Moore went to Oklahoma, so they want to have him there. My feeling is he won't be at either game, probably. So, I mean, that's just my gut feeling.
Like to say thank you to our buddy Tim Prangley. It's good to see Tim stop by. USC host for us for a long time. And so we hope Tim's doing well. Good to see you, Tim. Great to have you here. Still a member for 27 months. Look at that loyalty. Thank you, Tim.
Wow.
Good to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I love when teams like take something and just ride it the whole off season. Like a bit of offense to another team. I think it's fun.
We are offended, trust me.
Yeah.
See, that's why Notre Dame has to join a conference.
Mm-mm.
Well,
Notre Dame gets hate from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good topic at some point. Who's the most hated team in America?
I think right now it's Ohio State. If you it's who's ever doing the best out of the Blue Bloods, and right now it's Ohio State because they're national champions.
So it was Alabama before?
Well,
it was Alabama before, yes.
Yeah. It seems like Ohio State was hated forever.
Yeah.
No, but Notre Dame, they were odd in that they went a long time without being any good, and people still hated them. Like there are people taking so much delight, and when they would, I'm like, dude, they're winning 7 games a year. Why are you? Why do you care?
I think a lot of it was people from the South when Notre Dame got the vote over Alabama in '66. I think that's how it started.
Gosh, people hold grudges for a long time.
Yeah.
I think it was a lot of things. I think people grew up. Notre Dame was the only team that was on TV all the time, and they've got movies written about them.
Nelson and Paul Hornung on the call. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah, you've got a guy winning a national championship or winning a Heisman from a team that went like 2-8.
Well, you saw the quality on him, like when he was with the Packers. Like he really was that good.
Well, yeah, he was that good, but go look at his stats. Even for 1956, go look at his stats against his competitors for the Heisman Trophy. There is no argument as to that Paul Hornung should have been anywhere close to a top 5 in the Heisman voting. It's utterly ridiculous. It just makes. I'm sorry, Will.
Oh, it's got to be the eye test, man. The eye test. If you watch the games, the eye test must have been.
He wasn't a good player. Yes, he was for a very short period of time one of the best running backs in the NFL. But what he did at Notre Dame for a 2-8 football team, that was just mind-boggling.
In 1956?
Yeah, it was 56, right? Yeah, Hornung was 56. Yeah,
sounds right.
Yes.
This knowledge from this long.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have 1800 football knowledge?
I'm not a Michigan fan. Sorry, that's not
a
me.
little
I'm not a
bit.
Michigan fan.
Yeah, it kind of wanes prior to like the 50s.
Jeez.
Yeah. Christopher's asking us, when was the last time Nebraska was any good? Well, that depends on your definition.
2012 was a lot, I would say.
Yeah, like
Well,
contending
they
for a conference championship. Yeah, the last time they were good, Christopher, they lost by 40 points in the Big Ten championship game.
Yes. This is not, I mean, that's not something we want to broadcast here. Okay.
Well, Youngstown Bo Pelini got fired for going. What was it, 9-4 every year or something like that?
Never won less than 9 games.
Yes.
I remember the
And they
Nebraska
never won
AD.
9 games since they fired him either.
I remember the Nebraska AD was asked about, like, he was like criticizing Pelini for not being good enough for Nebraska, and then some broadcasters said, some journalist said, well, like, they've beaten Iowa for such and such years, and he's like, I mean, that doesn't mean anything. Nebraska beating Iowa should be like every year. And then after that, they went on like a long losing streak until
they're 1-9 against Iowa the last 10 years.
I just think it was insane that he said that, and then they went on the lose. But yeah, but now Nebraska's back. Nebraska's back.
Nebraska's back.
I can't wait till I'm not on this show anymore starting next week.
Well, I do know that I'm used to Nebraska being the punchline. So it's just, but I hear we were good once upon a time.
It is my first memory growing up in the 90s was then being almost like the Alabama or Ohio State of college football back then. Just every year you knew they were going to have a top 5 team. Up until
I remember Ndamukong Suh. He's probably the first player I remember from Nebraska. He was big.
Well, that was one of the wildest endings to a game I've ever seen. It was, if any defensive player should have ever won the Heisman, he definitely should have won it that year.
Are we talking about the Big 12 championship game against Texas?
Texas? Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was they won it, and then they didn't.
Have you heard about this, Minnie?
What?
Since before you were a fan. 2009. So this is Nebraska's second to last season in the Big 12. So to Nebraska's credit, they played in the final 2 Big 12 championship games. And they were playing Texas. Texas was a huge favorite, but Nebraska's defense was dominant in that game. Texas had a great offense. Colt McCoy, maybe the best offense in the country that year. We're headed toward a national championship game. And Nebraska led 12-10 with seconds left in the game. Texas driving. They're on the fringe of field goal range. Colt McCoy's back to pass. He's being flushed out of the pocket. He whips the ball out of bounds. And it seems fairly clear that he did not release the ball. And the ball is supposed to land out of bounds is when the ball is the clock
stops. Yeah.
And it was kind of a phantom call to give Texas an extra second on the clock. They kicked the game-winning field goal, 13-12.
I have that story. I have heard it. That's what I'm talking about. Those missed calls. Actually, Mark, I guess this is my answer. This has been going on forever because this is why there's all these disputed national championships.
That's why you should read the book. Yeah.
Read the book.
It's always handy.
It's a great book. Now you got to do one on another decade, though.
I would love to.
Yeah. Give Cincinnati a share of the national title that year.
09?
Yeah, we have no idea what would have happened if Brian Kelly would have stayed. They might have won the title.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey,
JJ. What's up?
I was just chilling out on Sunday night. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Fantastic.
Well, we are 1 hour away from hitting midnight, and that just means one thing, that it'll be 54 days until kickoff of week 0.
Mm-hmm.
54 days. And just yesterday, it felt like it was 80 something.
Yep. So that's the Minnie, what time zone are you in again?
Right now, Pacific.
Oh, okay.
Arizona doesn't do time zones, doesn't do daylight savings, right? So,
right.
Mm-hmm.
And Jackson, this could be the best week 0 matchup we've had maybe ever with Iowa State and Kansas State. I like that one.
Well, I know, right? Like Levi Stevenson is going to be so excited to hear that. Like he's going to be happy. He's going to be rocking and rolling. And that's a perfect time to tell everybody about the Iowa State channel, about the match that Levi creates Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
You're so cute, Jackson.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate it, though.
That is so cute. When is your show?
Crimson Tide Live's Mondays at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And Jeffrey and I do the Alabama Call-In Show at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday nights.
And Minnie, your shows are?
Let's see. I'm not as good as him because, like I said, Arizona doesn't change times. So.
Oh, yeah. I think the Monday Night Therapy show has been 7 p.m. Central Time on Corn Nation.
Yes.
That's correct? I thought it was. You and Greg. Or no, wait, that's you and a few other callers and Greg.
Mm-hmm. And then on Thursdays, it's the 5 Heart Podcast.
There you go. Thursday nights.
Yep. And that's 9 o'clock Central. That I can do.
There you go.
Yeah.
Super chat time. We've got Adam jumping in with this one. Minnie, I don't know if you are in on the running joke here with Drew Aller, but here we go with Adam. Drew Aller has no class after throwing that horrible interception against Notre Dame. Dylan Raiola must improve. Mark, Alabama is loaded and will win it all. Minnie, I appreciate your dreamy commentary.
Thank you, Adam.
I thought I had the dreamy commentary, but I guess I can't compare to the dreamy commentary.
Dylan Raiola has improved already. Just wait. I mean, he's so trim. He has dropped the pounds. He's put on muscle. I can't wait to see what he does.
Well, and I know I've been on with Minnie and on with Samuel Recker, college football with Sam. I believe it was Memorial Day. That's correct. Yeah, because I said that I believe Nebraska can have a 10-win season this year simply because of their schedule. It's super easy.
It is. It's like the second or third easiest in the Big Ten. So we just have a couple of tough opponents. And, you know, we also have a couple of new pieces that are not, you know, we're still waiting to see, right? Just like OSU. We have a completely new special teams coach, and we have a new rugby style punter. We have a new long snapper, which was, believe it or not, one of the biggest problems that we had last season. And our defensive coordinator got moved up from, you know, he was a DB coach prior to that last season because Tony White left. And we have a new OC that took over with 3 games left last season. So there's some kind of like newer type parts there, but I think it's all going to be for the better. Ten and 2 sounds great, Jackson. Thank you.
Are you excited about? So are Nebraska fans excited about playing in Arrowhead?
Yeah, actually, they are. They're really excited about that. Yeah, I think a lot of Nebraska fans are just excited about the season overall.
Yep, 60 days till kickoff as of right now, and then once the clock hits midnight at Eastern time, it's going to be 59 days till Nebraska kicks off the 2025 season.
Well, not in Nebraska. It won't be. In Nebraska, they still have to wait another hour. Sure, it's 59 days.
All right, Adams relentless. Here we go. Mark throwing an interception in the middle of the field with 38 seconds left in the semifinal game is unforgivable. Drew Aller has no class. He must repent. This has become like a moral issue. He must repent. It's a mortal sin to throw an interception.
Drew just needs to play better against good teams. Like against Ohio State, USC, and Notre Dame, he was pretty bad. I mean, he was all right against Oregon, but
too. Somebody needs to
get He was actually quite good against Oregon, and that was
really good.
It is a moral.
I can't wait to see what Rutgers week is going to look like for the Penn State channel on Rivalry Week. That's going to be an interesting discussion. Oh man.
Well, Penn State, they say they're unrivaled. That's what they say.
Oh God. I wish Penn State would shut up with that, because like I saw like Matchup Track on Instagram giving out that reminder that they are rivals with Pittsburgh.
Oh.
I'll never hush about Penn State Pittsburgh being rivals. I will be uttering that till the day I die.
Well, I don't know if it's a moral issue. I'm just saying. I mean, he got the team.
It's Adam's point of view. Yes. Adam is going to fund this network by preaching the anti-Drew Aller gospel.
He has the most proven experience in the Big Ten. What Sports Talk with Austin just said. Money, he's the best quarterback.
Austin loves saying these wild takes.
Well, Drew Aller has been the guy the past few years. It's been confounding, like confusing, difficult for me to get a grasp on. You watch him in some of these big games, and it's like, ick. But then you look at his numbers at the end of the year, and you're like, wait, he was actually really, really effective. Mm-hmm. And then you watch, like, he'll make like just a throw that like only a handful of QBs in the country are capable of making from time to time. And I mean, it's so hard to get a gauge on what he is.
I mean, Austin, I'd rather have DJ Lagway or Lenore Sellers right now.
To start the Drew Aller Fund. What does this fund entail? I mean, where do these proceeds go?
He wants to send him to confession, I think.
This business comes before everything else, so I'm all for the Drew Aller slander. I'll keep reading them. That's quite all right.
How do you feel about Drew Aller?
Me? Oh, yeah. I've had to read these super chats for like 4 months and respond to them.
Is it?
I am well documented on Drew Aller. I've got all sorts of Drew Aller content out there. Basically, here's the deal with Drew Aller. Drew Aller, is he the best quarterback in the Big Ten, as somebody has said here in the chat tonight? I would say until further notice, he is the best quarterback in the Big Ten. He's the best combination of proven and talented. But Bryce Underwood, Julian Sayin, Dante Moore, those guys could supersede him. I'm not saying that he is definitely the best quarterback in the Big Ten, but he is the best proven quarterback in the Big Ten. And he's one of the 5 best in the nation right now going into the season. And yes, he played here's the thing with Drew Aller is what I saw the first 2 years starting was deer in headlights against Ohio State and Michigan in particular. but not given much pass protection against elite defenses, and not game changers, separators on the outside. So he had no help. Now, this past season, I saw a different Drew Aller for most of the season. Man, he was throwing with conviction. He was decisive. He was fiery. He was a leader. He played an excellent game in the Big Ten championship game against Oregon. Then we get to the playoffs, and he's completely unnecessary against SMU. He's not even needed, so it's not his fault. They just won the game on defense in the first quarter, so the game was over. He just handed the ball off the rest of the game. He was marginal against Boise State at best, and then even before the interception against Notre Dame, he was pretty lousy in that game. And then he throws that bad pick when James Franklin entrusted the game to him. So I'm giving you the good and bad on Drew Aller, but he's a top 5 quarterback right now in the country. I don't know if he's going to land that high, because I think some of these new guys, Julian Sayin, Dante Moore, possibly Bryce Underwood. Look at how many. Can you guys remember going into a season where there were more elite teams that had brand new quarterbacks, completely unproven? Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, and we could keep going.
All right, another quarterback I have opinions about is Garrett Nussmeier. I feel like when it's rolling, everything's going well, he's A-okay. But as soon as he throws one pick, he goes into panic mode and is not great, as shown against A&M and Florida. So what do you think? He's top 5, Mark? Or I'm not saying this just because I'm not the biggest Kelly fan, but just generally, like LSU fans are hyping him like Burrow and Jaden Daniels, and I don't think he's at that level.
I'll say this, that I don't see. Now, we will have a different opinion on these guys because guys are going to emerge between Sayin and Manning and Underwood and Moore and others.
And more.
Obviously, guys will emerge. Mm-hmm. Your guy, Dylan Raiola, may break out.
May
break out. I'm not betting on him, but he may break out. I don't remember
your tone about Dylan Raiola. This has got to stop.
He may break out.
Yeah, we gotta see it. Is
that a bad statement?
Just
no, it's 100% guarantee that Dylan Raiola is going to be a Heisman finalist this year.
It's better.
That better? Okay. That's about as certain as Nebraska is going to play in the Big Ten championship game this year.
Oh.
Okay. So last point I was going to make to get the panel's response, and then we're going to put a bow on this, would be that it just seems like this is the first year I can think of who are the two or three best quarterbacks in the country. They're not great quarterbacks. They're not what I would consider elite quarterbacks. They're just proven because they've played a lot. Drew Aller, Cade Klubnik, I guess Carson Beck, a few other guys out there, where in the past there's always been Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, Justin Fields, CJ Stroud, those kind of quarterbacks coming back. I just don't think our level of play at quarterback is that high coming into this season in terms of guys that are proven.
Right. We don't know what you're saying.
Well, all those guys that you mentioned were gone after their third year. Yeah. They were like the elite guys we have coming back all could have entered a weak quarterback class this year, and are back because they just haven't proven to be that good yet. I mean, they all have massive warts in their game, in their resume, and in their game. So, yeah, it is kind of. I mean, I have a feeling like the best quarterback in the country is probably not going to be one of those guys that's at the top of these lists right now. Somebody will.
Yes, for sure.
The legendary Joey Foster is here. What's up,
the
Joey?
Wizard of West Virginia.
Look at this. Hey, Joey. Mark, what's the college football world going to do when West Virginia comes out and Rich Rod has those boys fighting and taking it out on everyone? West Virginia, 10-2 Big 12 champs. You know what? I would laugh at that statement, but in the Big 12, who knows? Maybe. I don't know. I would tend to think that West Virginia is going to finish closer to the bottom of the Big 12. But then again, who knows? I just don't think that roster is very talented.
Mark, I said this all at the end of last season. I don't think enough was made out of how completely out of sorts the preseason projections and the final results in the Big 12 were. Like, it was truly, truly unbelievable how much different the results were from the expectations. I mean, you had Arizona. The team that won it was picked last in the media poll.
Yes,
and the team, one of the teams that the two teams that were considered to be among the best, won one game in conference combined, and it was
UConn and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and it was one over the other. Mm-hmm. So they collectively beat nobody else in the conference. I mean, just the unpredictability of this league, the parity in this league is like something I don't think we've ever seen at the power conference level.
All right, guys. We appreciate you being here. You guys are amazing. You guys have been loyal to the voice of college football forever. We're going to take off with this show in future weeks. So this is going to be a little truncated, shorter show. And we may do some different things. And again, we're still working out host situations and maybe some miscommunications tonight that will propel us hopefully into what we're doing starting next week.
This is a fun run through, though. I mean, lots of great comments too. Thank you.
Jim out there became a member. Jim's been watching us forever. Jim R. So thanks for being a member, Jim. You can jump on here on the panel on Sunday nights. And let me get through these super chats real fast. Adam, thank you again. Throw it in the Drew Aller Fund. Mark and Minnie, I won $500 on a scratch off today. I used it to start the Drew Aller Fund. Will you donate? No, I'm not donating. I am the donatee. No, why would I do that?
I think
I like it the other way, Adam. All right. GT, between Adam's lottery winnings and my let's
credit card.
I'll be careful here. Okay, my wife's credit card. We have $1,000 and are in a position to outbid Purdue for any player. Okay.
That's funny.
Well done there, GT. Adam coming back with this one. Minnie, you must be more assertive. Oh, we're getting tips from the gallery now.
Thank you, Adam.
Tell us what Nebraska's record will be and who you predict will win the national championship. And please invite me to Lincoln someday. Well, Adam, I'm just going to speak for Minnie very briefly. Minnie has no issue speaking of herself, believe me. She does shows on Monday and Thursday. And yes, she has no issue speaking up for herself. And I would expect Minnie would make her predictions when she wants to make her predictions. Just by the time they kick off the season, it's all fair game.
There you go.
Okay.
What he said. And you're invited to Lincoln.
The Bull will win. Appreciate you being here. Minnie, is your sister Shakira?
Shakira? No.
Second, does Rayola look more pudgy like Mahomes?
Not at all.
Hashtag
trim.
Bonds.
Looking great. Just wait, you guys. I'm telling you. I keep telling you. Just wait.
All right. Jackson, Will, Sean, appreciate you being here.
Thanks, guys.
As always, you guys are phenomenal.
Sorry, I'll taking the low hanging fruit with Nebraska, Minnie. I'll try to be nice.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. Make it on back next Sunday night. College Football After Dark. with Minnie and a cast of thousands. And that'll be next Sunday night, 7 Eastern time.
No. Yes. No.
7 o'clock Eastern time? That would definitely not be after dark.
10 Eastern time.
10.
7 Pacific time.
There we go.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
Way too many times between my ears.
You're
going to see me tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time. How about that?
Sounds good.
At some point when we get through it, we're going to do all-time program rankings. We only did the Big 12. We're going to get through the other conferences, and we're going to line up all those national championships and rewrite history. We will get to that as well very soon. All right, folks. Appreciate you being here. Become a member. You can join the panel.